Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. How good really is Joker? A lot of you people are going to get mad. How good is Joker really? Let's put him against some of the great big men in the first 8 seasons compared to Joker in his first 8 seasons. And like I said in the past, we keep trying to tell you, you cannot compare eras, okay? You can't compare eras. This is going to be a lesson that you can't compare eras, because first of all, we're going to get into the numbers, but the level of competition that these guys were going against, you had the 90s, you had the Kimbe Mutombo, Alonzo Mourning, Shaq, Hakeem, Tim Duncan was in there for a little bit. Ewing, these type of guys were battling each other, and even in the 80s, some of those guys were, battling each other, and then you had Kareem in the 80s, you had Moses Malone in the 80s, the guys in the 70s, you had Wilt, you had Russell going against each other. You had so many great big men in every era, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. They were going against each other, battling, right? And let me ask you, who is Joker's competition? Joel Embiid? You're talking about one guy in the era where they don't play defense is his competition? So this is what I don't get. You guys think Joker is going to be doing the same stuff that he's doing in the 90s, that in the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s? You think he's really going to be doing that type of stuff that he's doing today? And I'm not trying to beat up on him. He's a great player in his era of no defense and no competition at the center position, right? So let's get into these numbers of these guys, their first 8 seasons. And we already know Joker is going to win an MVP. And maybe we can't say he's going to go to the finals. He hasn't did it. People tend to forget that Denver has only won one championship. They've only been to one finals. They didn't do nothing before last year. So I got them going to the finals. I think they're the most fundamentally sound team, 1 through 5 in the NBA. But this is the NBA. Anything can happen, especially in this fugazi league where your position in the standings means nothing. You can see what the Lakers do. They're just lollygagging all season. They might get up to the number 6 seed now, because they know they don't have to play the whole season and they make their own schedule. So let's get into this. First 8 NBA seasons, Joker 1 championship, 1 finals MVP, 2 MVPs, 5-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA first team, and rookie first team. Yes, I'm going to say Tim Duncan is a big man. He's a 7-footer. I don't care if he didn't play center. We consider this guy a big man. He played center a lot of his career. So, Tim Duncan, his first 8 seasons, 2-time champion. Oh, I forgot to say David Robinson was in the 90s too, right? 2-time champion, 2 times finals MVP, 2 times MVP, 7-time All-NBA, All-Star co-MVP, 7-time All-NBA first team, 5-time defensive first team, and rookie of the year. Tim Duncan just swallowed this guy, Joker, right? So let's get into Hakeem. 8-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA first team, Defensive Player of the Year, 4-time Defensive First Team, Rookie First Team, 2-time Rebound Leader, and 3-time Block Leader, right? And that's what I keep trying to talk about. These statistical titles will tell it all how great you really were, and not just MVPs and championships. Your statistical titles shows how great you were at your position, right? Who is this? Kareem. First 8 seasons, 1-time champion, 1-time finals MVP, 5 times MVP, 7-time All-Star, 2-time defensive first team, rookie first team, rookie of the year, 2-time scoring champion, 1-time rebound leader, and it says 11 blocks. Of course, it wasn't 11 blocks. 1-time block leader. Bill Russell, 7-time champion, 4-time MVP, 8-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA first team. Yeah, we gotta go back to Kareem. 3-time rebound champ, All NBA defensive first team. Right? Is that right? Did they have it then? No. Is it? I don't know if that's right. Did they have? No, I don't think that's right. They didn't have defensive team when he was in there. Yeah, that's not right. So we go to Wilt, 2-time MVP, 7-time All-Star, All-Star Game MVP, 6 times All NBA first team, Rookie of the Year, 7-time scoring champ, 7-time rebound champ, most rebounds in the game, most points in the game, which was 55 rebounds and 100 points, right? So I think this all defensive first team for Russell, that's not accurate. But when we look at these guys against Joker, they just swallow him up his first 8 seasons, especially in the statistical titles. How come Joker isn't winning any statistical titles? He's not the best in points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and people's gonna tell, oh well, he's getting all these stats still and all this stuff. Look, before we know it, they're gonna be telling us Joker is the most influential player of all time. That's what they're gonna be telling us because he led the playoffs in points, assists, rebounds, and stuff like this. This is telling you how weak this era really is. Okay, inflated rebounds with nobody underneath the rim. Nobody. 4 guys shooting a 3-pointer and nobody under the rim. Even the one guy that's under the rim covering the center or covering who's under the rim at that point, he's not even trying to get the rebound. When the ball goes up, he's taking off. He's taking off so he can stand at the 3-point line half the time. It's inflated. The assist. He's controlling the ball on his team like 75% of the time. And you can, when you get the ball, you can dribble like 10 times, and then the guy gets the assist still. Inflated numbers. But still, even with these inflated numbers, you can see the first 8 seasons of Duncan, Hakeem, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, and Tim Duncan. Joker don't even come close. And look, I'm not trying to beat up on the guy. He's the best in his era. But if you're telling me for Bill Russell, for Kareem, for Wilt, for Hakeem and Duncan, they don't have to win statistical titles to be great. They don't have to play any defense to be great. Nobody plays defense on them. There's no other threat against them in the league. As far as the great center, wow. I mean, these guys, each one of them was going against, 3 to 4 great centers of their era every year. Where's the great centers? Joel Embiid, who doesn't play any defense. Joel Embiid, who ducks out against playing Joker. I'm not trying to beat up on the guy. I got Denver winning the championship because it's that easy. Because all they know is you just have to be fundamentally sound in this era. Because many teams are not fundamentally sound in this era. Joker really doesn't have to play too much defense in this era because nobody plays defense. There's nobody to play defense on him in this era. I guess we can say AD, right? AD is his competition, right? Can we really say that? A guy that's always hurt? I don't know how this guy made the top 75. So how did Joker make the top 75? I'm not sure. Did he? I'm not sure he did. And why didn't he, right? Because Shaq made the top 75, and he had been in the league less than 8 years, if I'm not mistaken. Would you really take Joker over Shaq? I don't think so. People say, "Oh, he got more skills." I mean, your skill level is going to increase, or you're going to look like a better player than what you are, depending on how the game is played, depending on your defense. You got to remember, if you put Wilt Chamberlain, you put Hakeem, you put Kareem or Duncan in this era, how many more points, rebounds, blocks, and all this stuff they would average? And then I hear people say, "Man, can't shoot the three." I just wonder, would they really want to shoot the three if there's nobody to stop them? Nobody. You just dump it down to Shaq and he would score 40 a game. Hakeem would score 40 a game. Kareem would be skyhooking against no competition. Wilt will be scoring 200 a game. So why would they sit out there and shoot threes with nobody to stop them under the rim? It just makes no sense. Nobody to stop you under the rim and you're shooting threes? That would make no sense. And Joker really don't shoot the three too good. I think he shoots 34%. He's not an awful 3-point shooter. He's not good. That's what I don't get. Like, the league is like today is set up to where you got to do what everybody else is doing. It's so uniform. It's not even a real NBA game. It's not real basketball. I remember in the 90s, Chicago didn't play like Phoenix. Phoenix didn't play like New York. Boston in the 80s didn't play like LA. Everybody had a different style of basketball. Today's style is about we don't have to play basketball. We can just chug up threes. And it's so you see dudes, they'll miss like 6 times in a row. There's no bad shots. And that's why you got to wonder, are these real coaches? Why would the NBA want a league like this? Because it's apparent that the league is telling them you have to play like this. Because they're not running any offense. Just 4 guys sitting at the 3-point line. You call that basketball? As good as Tim Duncan was and David Robinson was, they got smoked by the Utah Jazz 2 years in a row. Kobe Bryant and Shaq. They got smoked by the Utah Jazz, the Plumbers. I think it was Seattle. I think they got smoked. No. It was Barkley, Hakeem, and Drexler. I think they got smoked 2 years in a row by the Jazz. The happened in 97, 98. Dudes was playing fundamental basketball back then. They weren't sitting at the 3-point line just launching threes with a wide open lane. And to me, it seemed like these guys that I'm talking about in this graphic would have even more statistical titles if they were battling against other great big men, power forwards, centers, to get these rebounds, to get these blocks, points. What would they do in this game? And again, the people are dumb. They keep saying, "Oh, well, they can't shoot the three." Why would you want to shoot a three? Who's going to stop you from scoring 40 underneath the basket? It makes no sense. That's LeBron James. I'm going straight to the basket. Nobody can stop me. Dump it in the Shaq. Michael Jordan's going to the bucket, scoring 60 again. Who's going to stop him? You guys keep worrying about who's going to shoot the three. Go ahead and shoot the three. How come these guys ain't averaging 40 points a game with no defense? Can't hand check. These guys were doing this under hand checking, body to body, elbows in the back. To me, Joker will never, unless he start winning statistical titles, he'll never be in my top 10. I don't care if he gets 4 championships. He won't ever, because these guys, statistical titles, they were battling who could get the most points in the season, the most rebounds, the most assists, the most blocks, most rebounds. And to do that, you had to have certain skills at your position to be the best rebounder, to be the best scorer, to be the best defender for the most blocks, to be the best passer for the most assists. You had to have certain skills. And you had to work on your fundamentals. To me, that's what a statistical title means to me. And this is why LeBron only has 1 scoring title. Because he doesn't have those type of skills to get all these scoring titles. Like a Harden. Even Westbrook has more. Like a Kevin Durant. Okay, if he was a big man, you had to have certain skills against the other big man to score these points on the post, on the block. You had to do certain moves. What about a guard, a shooting guard, like Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant, Tracy McGrady, Michael Jordan? You had to have certain skills to have the most points in a season against your defender. What about the most assists? You had to have certain skills and fundamentals to have the most assists, like a Chris Paul, like a Magic Johnson, like a Jason Kidd. These type of guys. Most blocks in the season. You wasn't just blocking little skinny 3-point guys, right? Back then, you was blocking big men, power forwards, centers, guys coming to the cup. So you had to have certain skills, certain fundamentals to block these shots. Rebounds. You had to have certain skills to get these rebounds because it was somebody under the basket battling for these rebounds. Steals. You had to have certain skills as a defender to get these steals and be the best that season in these statistical categories to beat out other players that were trying to be the best. You know, we done overlooked a lot of this stuff because of LeBron James only has 2 statistical titles in 21 seasons. So we think because Joker, you know, he's getting his, 26, 12, and 8. That's better than the guys who are winning statistical titles every year. And some guys winning 2 statistical titles in 1 year, like the Michael Jordans, like the Kareem, like the Wilt Chamberlains, who actually would have won 3 statistical titles in 1 season if they counted blocks. In the defensive players, right? So I'm not trying to beat up on Joker, but he's good in his era. But in the 80s, 90s, 70s, 60s, bro, he ain't out there willing and dealing, doing what he wants to do. This is in this weak era, the 3-point shooting era, where guys don't have to have fundamentals, no skills, don't have to, be good positional players. That's in this era. When people really played basketball back in the day, you had to have fundamentals, skills, and everything like that because you was battling other guys that had fundamentals, skills at their position. So maybe it'll get back to that because the league is really a joke. And the people on ESPN and Fox, they don't want to tell this stuff because they need to make money. They won't tell you that Joker won't be that good back in those times. And he didn't come into the league good. All these guys on this graphic, they came into the league grinding, came into the league as stars, rookies of the year, crazy potential, winning statistical titles. So tell me what you think.